Hey, happy Saturday to you. Hope you're having yourself a great day. I'm Eric, and you're watching Eric's Crypto Corner. I'm a tax accountant with over 17 years' experience in the industry, and I've been in the crypto space for just about 5.5 years. Let's go ahead and start today's video. All right, so today is all about discussing my 5.5 year GPU and salad AI rental kind of story. All right. I've decided that as of my next salad payout, I'm going to be done with salad. I only have one rig left on salad. I think that that has run its course. But I kind of wanted to talk today about the rise and fall of my GPU mining history. So hopefully that you can learn some lessons from my failures and maybe take some tidbits that did work for me and use them for your own gain if you're going to start doing some GPU, CPU, ASIC, or AI rental type of stuff. Okay, so the mining journey began for me very excitedly in December of 2020, a long time ago, right? I mean, it was about about 5.5 years ago that I started my little mining journey here. And you can see that I did my first crypto mining here, as most people did that were kind of newer. I used NiceHash to mine, where I just got paid in Bitcoin. We had some minor expenses here with internet, office supplies, and things of that nature. Just little things I had to buy to get going. But the big tamales really were the Dell computers. I bought two Dells. That's what this is right here. We can see that I bought two Dell. I'll move it over. Two Dell G5s. And they both have 5700 XT GPUs on them, which was probably like, I think they were going for like $800 or $700 back then for this little 8 GB card, because all of us miners were buying them up, and obviously everybody was raising the price. And I just thought, well, instead of me building my own computers, because I wasn't super comfortable doing that at that time, I'll just buy full pre-built sets at Dell and install NiceHash on them, and away we go, right? And update Windows or whatever. It was just simple. I didn't feel like I'd really do a whole lot of customizing or work, and I'd have to install operating systems and deal with power supplies and installing CPUs and fans and blah blah blah, blah whatever. So I just decided to go that route. And I just felt the resale value on these would be very, very good as well if I decided to turn around and sell them. So I wanted my risk to be pretty small in the very beginning. And, you can see here that I only bought the two. So I was just wanting to get my toes in it. So obviously you can see I depreciated them fully in 2020, but we had a loss of about $2,300. Okay. Now let's move ahead to 2021, and we can see things really change here. Okay, so I'm going to move this to 01, 01, 20. Now the year numbers will probably change a little bit. Oops. Okay. Wow. Right. What a difference a year makes. So now in 2021, I was completely in my heyday here. Now you can see GPU mining. I had gotten into some little bit of ASIC mining. I started dipping my toes into the small box miners over at Gold Shell, things like that, and started getting into a little bit of ASIC mining in 2021. Obviously, in a home, you can't run full, ant miners and stuff like that. Very loud. I actually tried, just too loud. Couldn't sleep or couldn't even think, really. They're just very loud in the basement. So stuck with the GPU miners, and you can see, I really bought a lot more. So when we move this to 2021, we've got our Dells that we bought here, right? So I bought more Dells, more Dells, more Dells, more Dells, more Dells. So a lot of purchases were happening. Well, these are from 2020. A lot of purchases were happening here in 2021. Bought a little Gold Shell miner, got another G5, got a little backup generator in the laptop, which I don't really include for this. I just can't split out the assets here from other portions of the business, but I kind of use these as well for crypto. So, whatever. So you can see $37,000. I mean, you're making almost $3,000 a month GPU mining in 2021 with roughly, I don't know, what was the number there? It was I think I had we had 12, 12 and 12, 24, 28, 29. That sounds right. So we were making about $3,000 a month on 29 GPUs. Okay. And when we look at, I did fully depreciate everything pretty much here. And we look at the year, if I pull out that laptop and that generator, I actually made about $3,000. So we had basically broken even at this point between myself and my wife with GPU and ASIC mining, the little home ASIC miners that we had. So life was good. Life was very good in 2021. Now in 2022, things fell off the rails, right? Let me update that. We can pretty much see from the profit and loss where we show our income and expenses here that it was in September of 2022 that Ethereum went away. And when Ethereum went away, GPU mining died. And it's been that way really since September of 2022. Here we are almost 4 years later. It's been over 3.5 years. There's been no other proof of work coin that has come out. There have been new projects that are profitable for a month or so, or a few weeks or so. And then they're not because everybody hops on them and the profits go down. And you can even see that the fact that I was Ethereum mining for 9 months here meant that our profits went from $3,000 a month down to about $1,200, $1,300 a month right here. So not only was the Ethereum mining, when it went proof of stake, it just killed all of the GPU miners, the home GPU miners, but it also really diluted, the profits for those that were GPU mining in 2022. And so really the only thing you could do is keep buying more GPUs or get more efficient GPUs and things like that. But what you can see here is at the end of 2022, I started selling off parts. So I'd part out those Dells. And then you can also see I sold off $17,000 worth of equipment. Now, what I tried to do here when we changed this to 2022, what I tried to do, so you can see I started selling off the Dells, the 5700 XT cards, all those. What I tried to do is I was like, okay, well, I've got to get more efficient cards. And so I was playing around the 30 series instead of, look how much I spent for an HS box, almost $1,000. In other words, this doesn't even work anymore. Anyways, I tried to find a nice 30 series GPU that was low power. Because remember, the 5700 XTs are pretty high power consumers. And I was like, okay, instead of just going at this, hey, what's most profitable today? I wanted to be what's most efficient today. So I tried the 3060 Ti's, the 3070 Ti's, bought some 3080s, right? And I didn't really believe in that for very long because, you can see now I started selling off the 3080 here, the 12 gig. And I bought a couple more 3070s here. Here's all the 5700 XTs being sold. And so you can see I was trying to find how can I efficiently mine, because I hadn't lost hope at the end of 2022. I was like, I just need to be more efficient because, we have the power costs, everything else like that. And so we can actually look here in 2022 that because I had sold off $4,000 of parts and $10,000 worth of computers, and the new stuff I bought was only $7,000 altogether, I had still come out ahead, a pretty nice profit here, of $9,000 for 2022. So I was like, okay, well, most of that was just from me, basically mining here. But then if we take out the parts and the gains and loss, that's like $14,000, figure the depreciation there. So really, I didn't mind the fact that I was trying something more efficient. Keep in mind, I have some tools and small equipment right here. And part of this equipment in here as well is not, let me see again. I don't think that was all, oh yeah, it was all GPUs. But I had started buying some solar here. That's where we put some really small solar panels, Amazon stuff. I was starting to build my own little solar generator farm or my little solar farm. And I think I got it up to about, 600 watts or whatever it was. And really the idea was that if I could build a solar farm and replace my power, right? Because if I don't have the power cost that I can do the solar thing, that I could just make money no matter how profitable or unprofitable these GPU coins are, I'll still make something. All right, roll up our sleeves for 2023. It just kind of got worse, right? Crypto mining, basically, I found out very quickly, requires way more power to operate than solar is willing to permit, especially in Wisconsin. It was just not, first of all, there's just not enough sun here. It snows 6 months of the year. It's cloudy a lot. It rains a lot. So for my particular location, solar was not going to be a solution. I really kind of gave up on the solar. You can see here that I really stopped in 2023 for a little while. Still had the office supplies, internet. I was still selling some stuff. And so here's some eBay commissions, Facebook fees, things like that. And then, you can see some checking account interest, but whatever. So I decided to sell off some more parts. And really what you can see here now is when we go back and look at our equipment, it was really kind of early on. I gave it a while, right? I mean, I bought the last 3070 in July of 22, and I waited really until May of 23 that I'm just like, okay, these 30 series cards aren't going to get it done. I need to find something even more efficient. And so I found these 6600 XTs. And what drew me to these was the cost, because NVIDIA by default was just way more expensive than AMD. And I was like, okay, well, I could be even more efficient with these. And because I was, there were smaller GPUs, take less power, I was like, okay, let's just try this, one more time. I'm going to give this a real shot with all these AMDs here and, see if we can make it go. But you can really see here, 21 was a great year. 22 was an okay year. I was trying to find a solution with a solar and maybe finding some more efficient GPUs. And really here, we have a loss of $1,100. Even when I sold off some equipment here, with the 30 series cards and I bought the new equipment, everything else, I still had a loss on the year for 2023. But I was just like, I was still hopeful because I was like, oh man, there's got to be some project. People have got to be hopping off these projects sooner or later because I knew my power at 15 cents or 14 cents a kilowatt hour wasn't terrible. And I should be hopefully holding on where maybe other people had fallen off the crypto train. Now in 2024, as the story gets closer to the end of its chapter here, we can see that really there was a little bit of crypto still going on. I was still doing it with the AMD cards early on, on the year. But we can see that I had now started separating the power versus the costs here. And even with the solar, I was barely breaking even here, right? I was spending $900 in power and I was mining $900. I still had some hope that those AMD cards would be super efficient. They're like literally the most efficient card you could find. And I was hopeful, but as time went on, things didn't look so good. So when we roll down and change this to 24 on the equipment list, you can see I just was like, okay, it was right around, it looks like, I know that I was doing with all these 3060s here. It was really around April of 2024. This is when Salad came to my attention from Red Fox. He had a video on it. I had found it and I was like, oh my God, we might be saved. AI is going to save the day. And so I decided, okay, well, let's start selling some of these AMD cards. And you can see I sold them all. And I started buying the 40 series GPUs. So you can see I bought a 4060 Ti and I bought another 4060 Ti here in 2024. And these were effectively the first two cards. And you can see here too that I bought some additional graphics cards like some 4070s, 4070 Ti. I still have one 4070 in my rig right now that I'm using for this video. And I still use one 4070 Ti Super on my Salad rig that I have downstairs that I'm down to one. But you can see I really decided to buy and build 4 dedicated rigs to Salad. And these are the motherboards, the power supplies, RAM, things like that, CPUs, fans, whatever. And I really decided that, okay, this is the new wave. Well, we got to get off the crypto mining. We got to get onto Salad. And that's what we did. And you can even see here that $1,200 of income from Salad and $300 of power. I was like, oh my God, we have a winner. Now, granted, I had depreciated some stuff and we're looking at some crypto gains and losses here, but just at the end of the day, I felt good about the straight cost, outside of the depreciation of the assets here. I was like, okay, we've got something again here in 2024. Well, and here we are in the final chapter, really, 2025. I've made a summary of what I made in 2025 in another video, so this might be a little repetitive for some of you. But you can really see here that it really just ended. I made more money in 8 months of AI modeling on Salad than I did the whole year of 2025. Now, some of this is in part to me deciding to sell some of these things in 2025. So at the end of 2025, I still had 2 Salad rigs at the end of the year in 2025. But you can definitely tell that it was just getting flooded. Sound familiar? I mean, as soon as people find out that there is a way to make money passively without really having to do a whole lot of work, I think everybody just kind of hops onto that train. So you can see I started selling some parts. I actually did a little bit of, I helped out a friend of mine doing some of his crypto stuff, so that really can't be included, but just look at the AI modeling revenue versus the power. Notice how much that changed. There was like a $300 cost the prior year, and this is a whole year, and this is only like 8 months. There was a $900 profit there, and then we can see our profits only went down like less than $400. So that just really goes to show that this wasn't going to work. And I had kind of kept a very lengthy spreadsheet, and you might have seen that in some other videos as well, that I go through what each rig made, how idle it was, because unlike crypto, which is 24/7 running, AI modeling is you're waiting to get rented, right? So somebody comes along and rents your rig for an hour or a day or a week or a month or whatever it is, and you get paid for the time that they rent it. Once that contract is up, you're done, right? And then you have to wait for another person to come around. Now you can see I did very little crypto mining here this year, and yet how much power I spent to mine that measly amount of crypto. So I was done mining crypto in 2025 from a pool standpoint, okay? Had some part sales, had some computer supplies, internet, office supplies, whatever. But at the end of the day, we had lost another $3,000. And when we move it ahead here, even to 2026, you can see that one of these is now my solo mining, and I have one for Salad, and I have 2 graphics cards left. And here's the Bitcoin node. Oh, sorry. You know what? One of these is actually for just a spare. I'm not even using it for anything because it doesn't have a GPU in it. And when we move ahead to 2026 over here, okay, AI modeling, $140. AI modeling costs $120. I've made $23 in basically, 4 full months in 2026 here of AI modeling. CPU, I did a little bit of CPU mining here this year. I gave up on it. What's the point, right? And here's your crypto mining cost. And that's just really the cost of me solo mining this year, because it's really all I've been doing now is solo mining for the last, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months or whatever it is. Somewhere around there. So anywho, I just wanted to go through, and you can see we've got a loss again. I just want to go through the actual numbers, no BS. This is what's on the tax returns and everything else. That's true and honest as I'm supposed to be as an accountant. How my last basically 5.5 years of the crypto journey and AI modeling have been. Okay, so really, what do we take away from all of that? The things that I've really learned that I hope that I can kind of pass on to you are some recommendations that I've always kind of given my tax or accounting clients for the first couple. Number one, start out small. You know, there's no reason for you to get into kind of a, I don't want to say sketchy business model, but risky business model. If you think that there's a good amount of risk, and I knew that there was starting out into the crypto space. I mean, I had only been in it a couple of months and I decided to start mining and investing money into it. So number one, just kind of start out small. I was very happy that I only started out with two Dell G5s to kind of start GPU mining, keeping it simple, keeping it small. Once I noticed things were kind of going in the right direction, I decided to amp it up. And that comes to point number two. If you're going to amp it up, don't bite off more than you can chew. Now, in my story, you obviously saw that I was able to finance for free, right? Interest-free financing for 12 months. And that was a risk I was willing to take, especially when I could turn around and sell the computers for pretty much what I bought them for. So please don't mortgage your home. Please don't go get a line of credit, even though that's kind of what I did through the free financing. Don't be selling cars, or don't be not eating or paying your utility bills, just whatever. Just live your life normally and just only do what you can afford. Don't go all out there and pull it all on 25 red or something like that. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. Item number three, when things start going downhill and you still have some value in your equipment, sell your equipment. I think that some people, when they hold on to their equipment for long periods of time, remember GPUs, CPUs, ASIC, all these pieces of equipment, the people that make the money are the manufacturers. Okay. So when you have an older GPU, it's not going to be any good 5 years from now or 10 years from now. When I started mining, we were at 5700 series. They've had the 6s, they've had the 7s, and they've had the 9s. So if I was going to sell those GPUs today, there'd probably be a quarter of what they were just a couple of years ago. Okay. So sell your computer parts or your ASIC machines or whatever other business you're in if you know that the assets are worth some good money. And number four, I think I'm on, solar won't save you, right? So solar is not going to save you at all. I tried here. So unless if you're in Arizona, Texas, California, something where it's sunny all the time, solar is not going to be your godsend, even though you try to make it work. All right. So I hope today's video was somewhat helpful. I had a lot of learning that I did on my own through watching other YouTubers and just kind of fiddling with stuff on my own, figuring stuff out. I'm normally pretty good with the finance component of stuff, but from the crypto stuff, I really had to learn a lot by kind of trial and error, by making mistakes. And I'm hoping that the mistakes that I made, you know, that you're able to learn from them and hopefully do better than I did with my little crypto mining business. So if you have any questions about the GPU mining, CPU mining, ASIC mining that I've been doing over the last 5.5 years, feel free to mention, make a comment or question down in the comments section below. Be happy to respond to you. So as usual, you know, all my videos are for educational and informational purposes only. They are not financial advice. Until next time, peace.